Alright, we're no longer in Berlin. We are now in Nuremberg. So, other than cathedrals and castles, stay tuned for more German adventure. Alright, so there's Nuremberg Castle. You guys got to see some clips of it. But since we have a lot of stuff to see in the city today, we are going to skip the tour of battlements and showing you pictures of suits of plate armor and cod pieces. So you're going to have to go without that today because we've got to go check off a bunch of cathedrals and fountains and old school European stuff in the city because it has lots of it. Next up today is we're in the Nuremberg Toy Museum. So let's see what kind of sweet toys they had back in the day. I gotta say, this hand-painted castle set's pretty dope. One of the most iconic board games, the Game of Life, in the 1960s. How many of you have even played this game? This game was old when I was a kid. Take a look, we got He-Man from the 1980s. Mrs. G's brother still has these toys. Baby G and younger G play with them when they stay at Poppy's house. Yeah, we got Suction Cup Face Guy. Lion Dude with like real hair. And of course...
And she has that one too.
He's got He-Man, yeah, he's all of these ones. We've got some old, circa World War I, 1914, hand-painted, sculpted army guys. These guys actually have real clothes on as well for the uniform. They certainly do not make toys like that anymore. And for the children whose parents didn't love them as much, you've got these paper soldiers attached to little wooden weights. Very nicely painted. But man, can you imagine your parents bring you home these instead of your buddy? Let's get the hand-carved ones over here. And while the boys got cool army sets to play with, of course, every young girl needs a miniature kitchen so that you can practice for a life of servitude and working in the kitchen. The craftsmanship on these sets, though, is ridiculous. So instead of a dollhouse, you basically have, in miniature, a kitchen. And who is in it? But a little girl, which is messed up in just so many ways. Now look, we got a little girl doing ironing, doing laundry, just the gender norms and associations going on here for boys versus girls tells you a lot about where we've come from and how we view children and gender norms. Oh, well, we got a kid in the kitchen. What is this? Chimney sweep in there? But the craftsmanship on this is amazing. Baby G is showing me the trains. One of my students will appreciate this. Got a bunch of old school electric trains. 1977, 1982, 1968. So we're getting stuff out of plastic now. Director set, circa 1925. Now these were cool. they would make a simulation of a movie or an animation, because you see the different frames, and then when you look through, you're able to see the animation happening. If Baby G would spin it, which is pretty cool because it tricks the eye. So we pulled up in front of what looked to be a circus with the kids, but I happened to be right next to this, which is actually what we're doing, which is the Nazi Documentation Center in Nuremberg. Baby G and younger G thought they were going to a circus, but really we're going to learn about Nazis. The entire Nazi Documentation Center, where the Nuremberg Trials were held, which was the first trials in the world where state leaders were held accountable for war crimes, which happened right here, has been turned into a big museum covering the Nazis and Hitler's rise to power and all the events that followed afterwards. So we're standing in the middle of the center where they did the Nuremberg Trials, and I can't get over that was the first time that heads of state were held accountable for war crimes or international crimes of any kind. I mean, just recently in Bosnia, General Mladic, was recently, put on trial, and finally, years later, found guilty of massive war crimes during the Bosnian Civil War. But like the precedent for that and holding heads of state accountable was set here. It just feels very cool to be here. All right, guys, we're taking a day trip from Nuremberg to Bamberg today. So there's Bamberg Cathedral. It's the whole village, town, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site because it's super medieval. So we're gonna wander about and take a peek. Bamberg Cathedral. The thing is a beast. Younger G, what are you eating, buddy?
Pasta.
Having some German Spatzel. And Mrs. G went for the schnitzel. Is it good? Nice German